Mr. Heath, very pleased to meet you in the Richmond City Hall.
It's an absolute pleasure. It's a pleasure.
We're very pleased to notice that you will participate in the newer mayor election as a candidate. So I believe you should be ready for your solutions, or you have a lot of measurements to make Richmond affordable and nice city. So would you please tell us something about your solution and proposal?
Well, let me first off by telling you, I've lived here for 60 years. My mother raised the 4 children on her own here in Richmond, and we all turned out pretty good. So I've seen Richmond change for the better over decades. And there's some more changes that need to be made, because with society now, there are issues that come with progressing to the position we should be as a worldwide city. So there's certain things that we need to do. I have found recently that the status quo is not delivering what's needed for many people that live, work, and play in Richmond. And there's so much more we can do. And that's part of the reason why I want to run for mayor here in October 17th, in order to make some of those changes. And let me just tell you why I'm running, and then we'll talk about what I can do. I'm running because I see families that are not reaching the potential they have. I see seniors that are not getting the services that they require, and I see youth that are not progressing as into the adulthood like they should be. And we've got to make sure we keep those 3 priorities in, families, youth, and seniors, together and progressing here. So that's a big part of it. But we need affordability. We need people to be able to afford the services here in Richmond and to raise their families here in Richmond. We as a government need to be more transparent on what we do. We can't do things behind closed doors, so the people that actually pay their taxes in Richmond can understand what their city government is doing. So we have to be more transparent on what we do. We need to be more accountable on how we deliver what the taxpayers, what the people in Richmond expect from us. We need to make sure that we're able to say that this is the reason why we did it, and you can hold us accountable for why we were doing it. We need to consult with you to make sure that accountability goes both ways. Law and order, which is a big part of my background, having spent 32 years as a police officer, and ensuring that we're dealing with every aspect that's affecting families and youth and senior in Richmond and businesses, whether it's petty crime, whether it's a drug issue, or the more violent crime that takes place. So we've got to look at different ways of delivering that so the community feels a lot safer here. And we need smart growth. And I use the term smart growth because it has to make sense of the development we have in Richmond, the types of businesses, the offices, how we have the community services, the recreation centers. All of that's part of smart growth. We are not going to stay where we are right now. We need to progress forward so everyone can thrive here in Richmond, and that is so important, and feel safe.
We Chinese people are very sensitive to drug, related issues, because in our concept, anything related with drug, you become poor, because that's the endless, it's a bad tragedy. Well, our question is first, so what specific measurements you have with the related drug issue? So can you tell us something briefly, please?
Well, let me tell you, this is a big issue in Richmond based on some of the rhetoric that's out there. If you actually look at some of our statistics, and I'm not saying the statistics tell the full story, that the drug use is actually receding here in Richmond. It's going down. We've got less people living on the streets. But that being said, even one person living on the street that's affecting a family needs to be dealt with. So I come from a very strong enforcement point of view. I used to be head of the drug unit in Vancouver when we had to deal with the multitude of drug issues, whether it was crack cocaine, whether it was heroin, or even cannabis, and I was in charge of that. I had record-breaking arrests and interdiction of supply. Nobody's come close to how many people that I've interdicted and put in jail and drugs that I've taken off the street. I do not support supportive housing. A matter of fact, I will shut down the supportive housing in Richmond. I will advocate for the body that's responsible, and that being the provincial government, to deal with the situation. My role, based on my 32 years of policing, studied law enforcement all over the world, is to make Richmond the safest community for our citizens. No matter what your socioeconomic position is.
Right.
But these people that are causing havoc, they bother me too.
Yeah, it's a diversity culture.
Exactly. You know, when I was a young officer, when I was pricked by a needle when I was arresting someone, and you could see the panic that went through me as a young officer doing my job when that happens to me. So I understand what people are going through.
Good.
And that is, I've got to tell you, that has concerned me, because I want to make sure that everyone is taken care of. And some of my opponents, that's all they're talking about right now. And I'll tell you, I have never said that I'm for drug use. Never in my entire life, and I never will. We do too much behind closed doors, where the residents, the taxpayers,
can't hear.
They don't know what's going on. That has to stop, because we are here. Your elected officials are there because of you. You
Absolutely.
voted us in, and we should have that transparency. So what I've done, I've actually brought transparency in the form of motions to council, where I've said, for example, when we have closed meetings, when we're finished with having that behind closed doors, it should be made public.
Right.
And even the vote should be made public. I had one of my, who's now an opponent for me running for mayor, say to me at the time, if I had known my vote was going to become public, I may have voted a different way. Well, come on. People, we're not going to fool people.
No.
We need to make sure. So we need to do more of our decisions in business in the public, because we are public servants. And we have to realize that. So that is absolutely something we need to do. We've got to make sure that we open up all of our books here. So you see, as a taxpayer, if you've paid multi-millions of dollars toward a particular project, you can see actually what that's spent on.
Yeah, we're very glad to hear your straightforward, positive attitude towards the matter. And my third question is, since the rising living cost for the for young families, for seniors, for newcomers, so what solutions do you have if you are elected to be the mayor? How to reduce the cost to make more livable, affordable housing problems in Richmond? Because Richmond grows so rapidly with our international airport in there, and it's a lot of small businesses, and as I mentioned, I think it's almost half of the residents are related with Chinese descendants, or so what is your comments, please?
We need more growth.
Okay.
We need more growth. All of this has to be part of the circle of growth.
Sure.
Where we need development in, so we can have a continuum of housing. So no matter what economic level you're at, you've got some place to live, some place to raise your families, and that. We need more of that in Richmond. We need more businesses opening up their doors in Richmond, not closing down and moving out of Richmond because they can't be supported, such as restaurants and various things like that. We need more of all of this stuff to create the environment we want. We should be encouraging people to come to Richmond, to move to Richmond, to live in Richmond, but we need to provide all of these facilities to them. And once you start to see that growth, because we have a limited amount of money, the land, once you start to see all of that growth, you will start to see the economy generate, and you'll start to see the tax dollars actually come in. because I can tell you right now, we should be only looking at tax increases between the CPI and the COLA. So, and that's where it should be, and it should be between, based on last year, 1.8 and 2.4%. That's it. But we've got to make sure we have growth in Richmond. And you touched on a very, very important thing. YVR is in our backyard. This is our jewel here in Richmond. We need to capitalize on that jewel to make sure that we are working together with YVR, that we're increasing the people, whether they're tourists, people coming to visit, or people want to move here. We work through all of these entities that we have here in Richmond in order for us to progress forward. It's all part of a big puzzle. And my job as your representative is to put that puzzle together, to go out and talk to businesses, to go out and talk to people that want to be in residential towers here, or whether it's even single family housing, whether they want to do that. We can have all of that. There just needs to be a will in order for the local government, the city government, to make this happen. The jewel of all of British Columbia. Let me tell you, because you touch on one thing and how we can utilize technology and AI. We've got, for example, we've got people that want to build here in Richmond, developers that want to come into Richmond and build, but we tie them up in the system. We don't get the concept that they have, the idea they have, and get their building permit for 3 to 5 years. Well, I want to bring in what I call 3331, where it actually puts
That's important, right.
Because, so if you're a developer, you come in, you submit everything online digitally. Okay?
Right.
You've got your architects who are certified, you've got your engineers that are certified. That should be good enough. It goes into the system, and through the computer programs, the AI, immediately you either get a green light or a red light. The red light tells you exactly what you need to put into your submission. The green light, you get the green light, the clock starts. Because if you're a business person, you're coming in. You're coming in, and you've got your lenders that are.
We have exclusive services.
The bank is getting their interest. They don't care if they're tied up 3 to 5 years. Like, you've got to pass it on to the consumer. You're not doing it for philanthropic purposes. Okay. So what I'm saying is, when you get that green light, the clock starts. You get 3 days for a rental permit, right to your permit to do the renovation. 3 weeks for a single family residential build, 3 months for a townhome condo development, 1 year for a tower. That's it. It has to be met. And it can be met through AI. It can be met through utilizing our resources within our... I want you to stay in Richmond. My mother went through this.
Were you born here?
I was born in British Columbia. I was born in Kamloops. And then my mother brought us here when we were very young, 4 kids.
I see.
So I saw when she became a senior and how she had very little to do.
Income,
And, it was lucky for the 4 kids that we were able to keep her here.
To contribute.
People should be able to stay in the place where they've raised their families, and they should have that housing available for them. So senior housing is a significant priority for them. But let me tell you something else about seniors. And it came out the other day with some policy. I'm starting to come out with some policy statements where it makes sense. What I came out with the other day is, for example, seniors in Richmond get free access to all the recreation facilities in Richmond.
Good.
And you look at this and you say, look, instead of you stuck in your home or in your house, get out, be around people. You can go to whatever recreation center, whatever pool you want or whatever, for free, as long as you live in Richmond.
That's good.
Okay, and there's so many benefits from this. Not only does it get them out there interacting with other people, which is rather than staying.
You have a colorful, richful life. Yes.
The fitness. You get out, you start doing activities.
Swimming pool,
exactly, and you get less health problems if we can get you active. this is a win-win for everyone. It's
yeah,
a win-win
yeah.
for us as a government because our costs will now come down.
For the
because
family,
seniors
for
have
senior
it.
itself, yeah, for
Absolutely.
themselves, yes.
So that's just one little area. We've got to
Yeah.
do other things so we can have passes where people can go to any recreation facility in Richmond they want. We've got to make sure we get the utilizing our recreation facilities a lot more. There's so much more we can do. I've been an active person my entire life, and I still am very active. I want more people because there's so many benefits from that.
Yeah. Well, we hear a lot more about your solutions and ideas, and we feel very honored to interview you. And also, I wish your voice can be delivered to more audience from our sources and channels. And I wish you success. Thank you very much for interview.
I am honored that you came to talk to me.
My pleasure.
I have
My
the
pleasure.
honor.
My
And
pleasure.
look, I am, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to finish with this.
Okay.
I have hope.
Uh-huh.
I have purpose.
Okay.
Okay, I'm qualified.
And change.
I'm ready for that change and
Good.
to make Richmond a safe and thriving
Good.
community for everyone, no matter where you're from.
Good luck. Good.